Hello and welcome to the Pacesetters Preview. It's the first Pacesetters Preview in a way, because previously this was like the tongue tie off back end J-Bon, wasn't it?
Back end, Gluteus Maximus.
Tongue tie off. Well, now it's its own thing, Jace. It's its
own thing.
Preview.
It's got a life of its own.
It does. New graphics there around, which is impressive looking.
And we'll try and get through this in reasonable time, and we'll try and be. We spoke a lot about entertainment in the other thing.
Yes,
the podcast, formerly known as the intro, a little bit like Prince or P. Probably don't want to wear P. But no freak offs here. But we'll try. We spoke a lot about entertainment, but it was quite a serious discussion by our standards. So
it was a bit, wasn't it?
We'll try and make this entertaining and try and find some winners as well, Coates.
I tell you, let's start off with this note. Charity challenge bet tonight, business class. J-Bon, you know I've had that in my black book forever. And
I meant to do it. I don't want to hear about it, mate.
Yeah, well, I was going to put it on.
Have business class, but I got caught up with this podcast.
I didn't even see the bloody horse in the race. I've been backing it all the time, and won and paid $15. So You know what? That's the end. As I've written, hashtag no coming back from here. That is my charity challenge over after 10 days. I can't come back from that, and I'm guessing you'd be feeling similar, J-Bon.
No retreat, no surrender. I've made some bad decisions, and I've missed a couple of bets that I should have had, and a number of that, you normally come up with about two, don't you? Maybe three, but a lot of the other ones, Chiripo, it was going to be, if not Louis Luai had every possible and didn't win. Mega success last Saturday night I even wrote the tweet out and then went with. So I've zigged when I should have zagged, but you know what? There's still time, and as we're going through this preview, there are a few at wild and woolly odds.
Nice.
I might try and use this.
All right.
Yeah. Let's do golden punt. All right, race one.
Let's do it. Race one.
Victoria Cup night.
Yeah, race one on Victoria Cup night. As I'm doing sort of two things now. I'm calling up your pace setter profiles, J-Bon. Just
want to start with this
in the background. Well, yeah, let's call it up on the screen for the first, which is the free for all. No, it wasn't. That was last week's results. J-Bon, tell us what race one is.
It's the Highland Harness Colours Trot is the first one. Rams well on here. This is what we're going to do. So the profiles say this. King Stuka, I am relatively certain will be first across the pegs. 5 times
Stuka.
in Stuka. I know you've got an opinion of Stuka, and 5 times in its career it's been first to pegs. 4 times leading, 1 time lead trail, I believe. 5 starts, 5 wins. That, for those in the cheap seats, is a 100% win record. The other potential scenario, and Jason Lee has chosen, I would imagine.
Yes, the skincare aloe vera.
Yes. For those with a bit of a sun, you had one a few weeks back, a bit of a sunburn. I've had plenty, some of them quite horrific. Yes, Aldebaran Vera, he's chosen, we believe, over Stuka.
I think Aldebaran Vera is the better horse, J-Bon.
I do, and that's why I originally mapped the scenario that I've come back to now, where Stuka leads and then hands up to Vera.
Right. Yes.
And if that, so 8 starts in front for 6 wins, 75% win record, and it's nowhere near as good when not leading. 23 starts for only the 3 wins, and nearly the most critical one in a weird way is Rockin' With Attitude, who obviously incredible gate speed, normally finds itself off a front row, draw, leading or occasionally trailing 26 times in those roles, 18 wins, 8 times not leading or trailing, and that won't happen here. Only the 1 win. So I do not believe Rockin' With Attitude it's favourite right now.
Ooh,
I don't believe it will start favourite.
Nor do I. J-Bon opened $1.90. She opened $1.90 odds on.
But that's
going on.
Again, that is a thoroughbred pricing mentality, because they would look at the prize money and they'd say, Rockin' With Attitude, Group 1, multiple Group 1 winner, it's the one, but not here. In fact, I've boiled it down to pretty much Vera and Stuka. I'm not saying nothing else can win, but I pretty much am. I only want them. And you're getting $3.70 and $6.50. And I reckon Stuka will, like Aldebaran Vera has already gone from 11 to 6.50. It's going to shorten in.
Well. So Jace, I had a quick look today. I haven't done the full form, but I had a quick squeeze today, and I thought, Aldebaran Vera top pick. And I called up Sportsbet, and it was about 360, and I reckon it opened 350, 360, and I thought, oh, well, there's not much there. I went over to the tab, and it was 11s into 650, and they're holding firm at 650. I think the Sportsbet price is far closer to accurate. That's around $3, $3.50, J-Bond.
Well, particularly the fact that I thought I put out a tweet today trying to talk about hooks is another thing that was discussed on Sky, and we've discussed many times about.
Yep.
And these Pacesetter profiles are an ideal example. I thought Stuka would start favourite, but I can see Aldebaran Vera 650 right now would have nearly starting favourite, and I reckon they'll be top 2 in the market. And I reckon they're the top 2 winning chances. So bet early to avoid disappointment, Codes.
What a great way to start. Race 2, the Pacers free-for-all. Shout out Dynamic Print here, J-Bon, who is the sponsor. And when I had a little look at this race, I thought, wowee, there is speed to burn early because we've got a couple of horses that charge forward and a couple of drivers who like to charge forward. So what do you make of it?
This used to be the free pass into the Victoria Cup, didn't it? The Popular Arm free
Arm. It may well have been.
I'm trying to think about the David Aiken horse who won. It really
Cold,
happens
when you
Major?
have these.
Huh?
Was it Cold Major? Was that a trotter?
No.
Cold Major was a pacer, wasn't it?
Yes.
Jeez, I might have
Cold
embarrassed
Sister
myself.
was a pacer.
Cold Sister was the trotter.
Anyway, normally when you have these free pass races, the horse who wins was always going to get in anyway, but that was one rare scenario. But I digressed. So, profiles again, Raw for Roscoe, and I concede with Raw for Roscoe and Kowalski Analysis, who are both big odds, that these stats have been achieved in lesser races than free-for-all standard. But Raw for Roscoe, 2 starts, 2 wins from the poll, and Kowalski Analysis, record leading 7 starts for 5 wins.
Mm-hmm.
And again, almost the most staggering of the profiles here, Like a Wildfire has a better record. One thing you always say to me when I come up with these Pacesetter profiles is, of course they're going to have a better record leading or whatever.
Yes.
Well, Like a Wildfire has a better record overall from second row draws and front row draws. Would you believe it?
No, I'd struggle to believe that.
Well, I've just told you. So.
I know, but this is Michael Howard used to tell me back in the day that occasionally you'll see a first 4 pay less than a trifecta. And yes, I'll admit it can happen very rarely, but every single time we looked at it, since that day, I've never once seen it. And he's admitted that he can't find one either. So.
But this does happen every now and then.
It does, and you're proving it. You're proving it, Jace. Yep.
So my top tip is Like a Wildfire.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just looking at the race, right? And from a place perspective, the other 2 that I've mentioned there,
yes,
I'll be able to back them both a place.
Okay, interesting.
Right. Well, I think that what are they paying a drum? Raw for Roscoe's about.
So Juanita Breen will come out hard on Raw for Roscoe, keen to hold the front. Kowalski Analysis actually does have push button speed off the arm. They don't always use it. They've
met a couple of times recently, I think, and Kowalski Analysis has crossed Raw for Roscoe in similar circumstances.
That's good to know because then you've got Bark who can absolutely launch off the arm. And Kyle Marshall has been known to put the foot down early, J-Bon, and all of a sudden we're in a situation where you've got 3 horses all pretty keen to try and find the pegs first. And I reckon some class discrepancy over on the back row. So for me, I like the Bulletproof Boy odds. Okay, I reckon Bulletproof Boy was around $19 out from 12s. No early money. Hurricane Harley's about $61, unless I've read that totally wrong. Might put something small on Hurricane Harley. And Tango Tara, J-Bon, if they do go a bit silly, could come right over the top of them at the end. Lord knows that Tango Tara wasn't suited last time out in that pedestrian type Kilmore Cup. So I just think they're the 3 that I might have a little dabble at big odds. But who knows? Maybe after I've actually done the form, I'll change my mind.
I agree with you. I agree with that the early speed could be significant. I wouldn't be surprised if Raw for Roscoe, given possibly, maybe, given recent experiences, might say, I'm not going to burn up too hard and too crazy because I'd prefer to end up behind the leader or 3 poles without having expended gasoline, unleaded.
I think that's fair.
Right. So the only little issue here for those off the back row is even if there is a significant early burn, fireworks, New Year's Eve, if Bark does find the front, I don't know where Bark's at, but I know he's one of my favourite classical composers. I think he's probably my favourite. Really love that Baroque style. But there's
I think it was just to jump in though. That last start, I was only listening in the car, but I think he was still travelling, wasn't he, out in front when he jumped off stride?
Yeah, and we know he's a good horse, but what I was going to mention is there's no really, really natural enforcer. If that all does happen, they run a pretty slick lead time, first 400 metres, whatever. But then they get to back it right off. See,
here comes Like a Wildfire and Tango Tara, though.
Well, Like a Wildfire, he used to whip around and sit parked.
He did.
These days, other horses pull out 3 wide and he's in the running line and they save him for one burst only. Can't Fight him Better Man could go there, but doesn't do it often. Tango Tara.
Beyond the Light?
Maybe, first up from a break. But even if Beyond the Light got there and it was the one on the breeze, if it held the breeze, I don't think it'd be going foot flat to floor first up from a break. So,
all right,
interesting. I'll go with Like a Wildfire, but the 1 and the 3, if they got cheap runs and you can back them both, and only one of them has to run and drum to make money.
Did you put Kowalski out on Twitter?
No.
$41 into 19s, J-Bond. Early doors for Kowalski analysis.
There you go.
All right, good summary, good summation, as they say in the classics. Race 3 is the big one. There's lots of big ones. One of the big ones, the Ben Stud Queen of the Pacific. I love this race. Every year I love this race, J-Bond.
People will say that I have got a Victorian bias. Artie's Express is the one to beat, no doubt. Another profile, 4 times leading on Australian soil, 4 wins. Almost certainly gets the front. But a number of these mares have had exposure over a long trip, and most of them that are in the market, or the top ones, have done relatively well at it.
Yes.
I'm just thinking, if Major Delight gets serious here and decides to keep Artie's on us, there's a couple of the second row here. One that you've got a love affair with called Sahara Breeze.
Mm-hmm.
And even more so for me, Sweet Bella on a 1x5 basis.
Okay.
Sweet Bella races, even out in front, never burns away, does she? And I think it was at the Oaks final where she came from off the speed and beat them. She's just got that I'll keep going mentality. So $14 isn't exactly a massive spoil, but I'm not completely convinced that Artie's Express is $1.60 moral. What about you?
I don't think it's $1.60 moral. No. I tell you who I am interested in here, J-Bond, from a tactical perspective, is Jillaby Willow. You'll recall that this horse loves to lead, and when it leads, she very rarely hands up. We also saw last time out that Jason Lee drove her, aggressively, which was, I thought, good to see. I backed Sahara Breeze, so I thought it was very good to see it. He drove quite aggressively and confidently aboard this horse against Soho Historia. It draws the pole here. It's ran over the 2,700 metres previously at Terang when led all the way there in the Terang Cup to win 27-7 and 27-8 home. So, they did get home quick, but they were getting home from the, from the 800 there, Jace.
Yep.
She stays, in my opinion, therefore. And I think, there's just something about, I don't know if she'd try and hold out Artie's Express, but there's something about the way that the Lees are going about it, which I love, and that is they just take no prisoners. They're saying if I've got an opportunity here, I'm having a crack. It's a Group 1 race and buggy. I'm going to hold the front. Who knows? Probably won't happen, but it might, based on what we're seeing on the form guide.
I don't think so, but if you like Jillaby Willow, you might be able to just back. And you think it's going to be peak dominated?
I like Rakiro Rebel. I was
just going to add, if you think it's going to be peak dominated, then the 1 and the 8 you can back.
Yeah, I just think that if they do at least burn for a bit, I think Rakiro Rebel over the 2,700. A lot of these horses won't necessarily stay the trip unless it's a pedestrian race, like we've talked about. These things can be, but if they do burn a bit, and Greg, one of the best in the business, J-Bond, if not the best, can extricate. Then I want to be on Rakiro Rebel purely because I did say she's possibly the best mare in the country at one point there, and I can't really step away from that. So I'm going to ride with Rakiro.
Is Cam hard on Artie's Express as well?
Yes. Yep. Fireworks. I
like the kid, but it does tend to like to run along.
Let's see what happens. Race 4, did you have any more on the?
No, I just can't. I drifted off because I'm still thinking about business class, but we'll move on. Race 4.
Pretty shattered about that myself. It's the Phil Collins Trotters Sprint J-Bomb, and we see Just Believe versus Call Me the Breeze, and the barrier draw has really favoured Just Believe.
I don't know if there's been any media around about likely tactics here. The Pacesetter profile, by the way, is Olivici, and this is where I'm swinging towards.
Yes. You keep talking, I can sit. I must let the cat in.
10 starts for 8 wins for Olivici. Record not leading. He's still pretty good. 36 starts for 10 wins, but not as good. And codes. I'll wait for you to put it back on. The headphones back on. The little green ones, the lime green ones, the little fluorescents. Yes. I think Olavici's going to park. Just Believe.
Right.
So a couple of that changes the race in a couple of ways. One, it helps Call Me the Breeze, obviously. 2, gives Olivici some sort of little chance. And even though he's not going as well as he can, the real Mufasa Metro over a mile could definitely at least run a place. I just think I've been known to question Just Believe in the past, and just about every time virtually every time, if not every time, ended up with egg yolk all over the eyebrows. But I'm just thinking the $1.33 if it's parked. Call Me the Breeze and Just Believe. There can't be a lot between them in ability. There isn't. And I just think I think if there's one situation, Chris Lang's been telling us forever and a day since the mid-'80s what an opinion he has of Olivici. Olivici is starting to bring all that to fruition. Certainly you would imagine this is the opportunity to say, over a mile, over the short trip, let's have a crack.
Hand up, give up. Surely this is a hand up, give up situation in a way. You've got to take your chances, because if you hand up, it is game over. Yep. I know that, Call Me the Breeze can come round, but you're not winning, are you? You're not out sprinting Harry, and you're not, and if it goes the other way, you're not beating Call Me the Breeze by handing up, in my opinion. No. So I agree. I think with the gate speed, I think that's, it's something that I don't think's been, as you've referenced, J-Bon, I'm not sure it's been talked about loudly. If it has, I've missed it. And admittedly, I haven't necessarily been listening to every channel. So I don't know. Maybe you're not the first to say it, J-Bon, but I don't know.
So
I think an assumption.
If nothing else, I think it is going to be a more exciting race than it may appear on paper.
750 into 460. Call Me the Breeze, J-Bon. So there you go. There you go. Race 5 is the first of our quad, J-Bon. Pod quad.
Rod, you'll cut. Rod, Todd, you'll cut.
Rod and Todd. It's the Derby, J-Bon.
Derby final, the Woodlands Victoria Derby final at Group 1 level. Right. Get down!
210 best deal, $2.10 favourite. He's from Evan, $5, and Mickey to Success, our girl, $6. Kingman, $6.50, and Bay of Biscay, $5.50. Strange funny little market there, J-Bomb.
I love, we both love Mickey to Success.
Yes.
But I'm making Best Deal my best of the night.
Oh, okay. Talk to me.
Well, it's got really good gate speed. What's the profile here?
Let's have a look at the profile. First to the pegs, J-Bon. 6 starts for 6 wins. For those people you referenced in the cheap seats, that's a 100%. Win record. When not first to the pegs. 3 starts, 1 win. That's 33.33333333.
I mean, they just got home in crazy sectionals last week. Best Deal's, as soon as I texted you, as soon as Best Deal crossed,
you said
I was on Bay of Biscay. I'm just like, I'm in big bother here. Best Deal has got point-to-point pace that very, 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 very few horses have. It should get across the pole marker. I believe it hands up. Now, whether it waits for Bay of Biscay, I think there's every chance it hands up to Some American, because I'll admit I didn't rate Some American overly highly, but last couple of starts, one thing if you hand up to him, he's going to take you everywhere you need to go, and you can probably run past him. So I think Best Deal could opt to lead, but I think it'll hand up to probably Some American, maybe Bay of Biscay, and I'm confident that it will be winning the race. The only little caveat is that he's got this incredible speed, But even last week, he wasn't tested over, hey, many horses, many humans can lose that touch of acceleration if it's a brutally run race. But I can't see that materialising. So best deal, the best of the night. The only dangers here for the squad, the Rod Todd quad.
Yep.
Mickey to success. All that, Stuart. Mickey to success. Kingman, Bay of Biscay.
So do you want to put those horses in? I'd like to put Mickey in just because it's a favourite, and I do think it'll run the trip right out. Although, on your map, best deal, very hard to beat. I just want to call out too, J-Bon, we very rarely get to say the famous bingo line, 5 Little Ducks, 22,222, but that is the form line of Some American, that famous bingo line, 5 Little Ducks.
Yeah, 2 for 22, chew. Yeah, we'll go 2, 3, 8, and 11 for the pod quad. But in my own combinations on in the game plan,
yep,
I'll be having staggered quads with best deal, 1 out in the main ones.
Fair call. Race 6, Jabe, on the 300 grand sports bet Vic Cup of Group 1 status. Leap to Fame, Lazar, $1.40, Jabe, is the Herv bet price. I think it's even cheaper, I was going to say, even tighter on tab. Yeah, $1.20.
I did tweet out last week, and admittedly he did win the race anyway. And a couple of people said we'll just take both prices, but he was $1.60.
Yes,
for this Victoria Cup last week.
You said take it, win or lose, basically.
Well, really, the situation couldn't have been worse.
Yeah,
and you knew if he came out and won, particularly. I mean, people say he could have drawn 1 or 8, and that might have been damaging. I don't think 8 would have been that much of a problem. 1 would have been maybe a problem, but look, there's no problems here. Pod quad, 3, 1 out, and here, so Mac Dan's got exceptional early speed.
He does.
It will hold everything out. I don't think it'll be, if Vac now even comes rifling out, I don't think Mac Dan's handing up to it, even if it does get across Leap to Fame. Leap to Fame, cruises around, takes the top. This is pegs for life. And you're getting 250 a drum about Mac Dan, who, Pacesetter Profile says, from the poll, 7 starts, 2 wins, 4 placings.
Yep.
So that's 6 out of 7, and they haven't been nothing races. He's won a Geelong Pacing Cup and a Vic Derby heat, and he's placed in a Derby and British Challenge semi-final and an Inter-Dominion consolation. Behind the leader with the best horse rolling along in front, I think Mac Dan will finish 2nd or 3rd. Major Moth will almost certainly occupy the other podium position. And the way Perfect Class got home last week and the way he's going, you nearly go pegs here.
Yeah, but that's it. No, I agree. Yeah. But that's if Perfect Class stays on the pegs, and if he doesn't, then there's might be another one you have to find.
He'll stay on
because if he stays on the pegs, then I think he's a chance to run 3rd.
Yeah, me too.
Or even 2nd, the way they'll sprint up the straight. But it is a brilliant, delicious, as Bruce might say, J-Bon, looking first.
Delicious.
For trifecta situation, because
or just have
with you.
Mac down a place, really, 250, if you just want to have one bet.
Well, Wago, what about Catch a Wave, though? I mean, I know it does. It's funny, isn't it? It draws barrier 2 inside of Leap to Fame. It's the big, it is, the grand final horse. I know we're not trying to elongate this podcast, J-Bon, but just quickly, because a lot of people will be saying, hang on, Catch a Wave, you would have thought when you first looked at it would be a potential danger. It draws inside Leap to Fame, and everyone says it's just Leap to Fame's race. So talk the punters through, J-Bon, maybe the thoroughbred punters or the Greys punters who don't quite understand that logic.
Well, Mac Dan's drawn outside Catch a Wave a couple of times recently in the last couple of starts and has burnt across it. He's got more gate speed these days.
Can he get across? Can Catch a Wave angle?
No.
That'd be interesting, but yeah.
Don't think so. And basically, in this situation, and we saw this play out last week, if you go through the results from last Saturday night and you look at the stewards report, it'll say 1-3-5-7, 1-5-3-7, pegs domination, right? And in this race with Leap to Fame in front, I am not shitting you or overstating the case to say you're at a 20-metre disadvantage to be off the pegs.
Yep, I agree.
So he's a great horse, but he's in all sorts.
Yaya's hot spot and others would absolutely prove that theory as we go back through history, J-Bon. And we've made some money on the place with some of those horses over the years to So prove it. All right, race 7. As we go through the pod quad, we've one out there with Larry. This is the Oaks final. So this one's for the ladies as opposed to the blokes, which is the Derby, of course. I sound like Dan when he's explaining the distance from the start to the mile peg for the lead time when I'm there tonight for some reason. I don't know why I'm going into this educational mode here, Jabon on the pod, but it's the Oaks. That's for the 3-year-old fillies. And Coastal Babe's $1.50. And I tell you what, I won't give away names, but there's someone out there who we all know has had a good go at this horse at 80 to 1, 50 to 1, 20 to 1, and so on and so forth. And all I'll say is toot toot. He'd absolutely be up and about as we speak. Jabon.
You won't like this, so I'll move on quickly. But Matt, hopefully we don't have a situation where a colt identifies as a filly down the track. Then goes to so Coastal Babe is SB Profiles. SB Profiles funny because they did back it heavily, but it still started 240 or something last week. There were rumours swirling and abounding. It was going to lead and win.
Swirling.
It did just that. But here's the kicker again about the $1.50. It'd be one thing. I'm not sure if this is true, but is Stephen Reid in Australia? I don't know.
I don't know.
It might be being looked after. I don't know, but I think it might be. But the key here is that Pistol Pete McMullen is not called Leader Peter for no reason. I don't reckon he's sat still in one place. He wouldn't have when he was 6 years old in primary school, and he hasn't ever since. I don't think he's just going to let Coastal Babe get away with murder here. And I'm just wondering, I'm trying to work it out. You would think that Coastal Babe, $1.50, very good gate speed, there'd be every intention to lead all the way. But you almost look at it and think it's a better winning chance if it just hands up to Mickey. Because Pistol Pete, I don't think he's going to go for this could be almost quick draft to Beresari here. But I think RDB Mickey is going to be going for 400 metres. Like, they're going to be going hammer and tong if there's no lead.
Hammer and tong, yeah.
For RDB Mickey.
Yes. Even
if there's no lead there to try and create a gap in behind the leader, but Show Some Joy's got that might not avail, and then you keep going. So it might just blow them away, Coastal Babe. But there's one in this race that I'm happy to look at enormous odds.
Well, let's see if it's the one that's already shortened. Go.
Stitched Up Dan.
Yeah, 51's into 26 today, so it's halved its quote today. That's interesting because no other horse is shortened. Sorry, except Show Some Joy. $5 to $4.60. The reason I just sort of changed my tone there, J-Bomb, is because we're seeing two horses back today from the back row, from the Emma Stewart camp, both on the back row here. Could there be some sparks?
Well, they're going to be the beneficiaries, aren't they? I mean, Show Some Joy.
Well, if there were sparks, yeah.
Either ends up Nicholas Sparks, who wrote the Notebook. Never seen it. Apparently, it's a real tearjerker. But Show Some Joy behind the leader, maybe.
Yep.
Three pegs at worst, but after an incredible early burn, with two horses that are going to carry her everywhere she needs to go, and she might even be able to get out and have one crack at them. So I totally get the money there. And Stitched Up Dan, I thought was really brave in an unfamiliar role last time out. And if they go berserk, the other thing is Stitched Up Dan and Eureka Joe are both by Bettor's Delight.
Right.
So if it turns into a staying test. Bettor's Delight has been known to throw an okay. So
look, we have to play the pod quad wide based on what you're saying. Are you thinking 2, 3, 8, 11?
Yes.
I've included 3. Do you want me to include 3? Artie?
Yeah, why not?
So 2, 3, 8, and 11.
You don't want 6 or 12?
Well, actually, you have to put 6 in based on what we're sort of suggesting could happen.
And I would nearly put the 12 in as well, to be honest, Eureka Joe.
All right, let's put... Oh, sorry, I thought I did put Eureka. No, my bad, I didn't. Okay, 2, 3, 6, 8, 11, and 12, yeah?
Look, and if we can catch a split there...
Oh, yeah.
With the Rod Todd quad.
Emma Stewart's been known to win a big race called the Queen of the Pacific with a horse at any old odds. Yes. I don't know if she's probably won her fair share of Oaks. I don't know if they've been big odds, but... Maps like it could happen here. Race 8, J-Bond, the Living Legends pace. And we see one of the favourites of the pod. We had Vicky Stanley on a very early episode talking about Exotic Bushranger, $2.50. I sort of hoped we'd get a price with a couple of duck eggs next to his name, but they were too smart, the bookies there. They just didn't look at the figure form and give me 50 to 1, unfortunately, J-Bond. Opened up pretty...
Well, we obviously concur here. 250 is no massive spoil, is it? But I reckon it's got
big.
I reckon it's got the gate speed to get across. Chandler leads a lot, but isn't a brilliant beginner. Exotic Bush Range is not. It's a level advice back in the day, or more recently I used Coastal. But
yes,
it's not brilliant, but I think it might have the speed to get across. And even if it doesn't, the best of Exotic Bush Ranger, I think, can even park and win this. So 250 no spoil, but a clear on top selection for mine. There's been good money for Meister. Ends up behind the leader all 3 poles at worst.
21s to 6, yep.
Classic Mission's going really well. Second line draw, 17-20 would need plenty of fireworks. Rakiro Slammer's got a role to play in the early burn.
No respect for ARG out to $34.
Now, it seems to always go back, particularly from wide draws these days. Tiger Bandwagon's flying, but again, the wide draw, short course. LaBelle Bajou's very talented. Spyglass is half a knockout, second doesn't break at crazy odds.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Exotic Bush Ranger. It's London or the Bush here. It's the Bush or the entire outback for me.
Well, so do you want to just play really tight in the last leg for the pod quad?
So what do you want to do?
Well, obviously Exotic Bush Ranger. We ticked that off. Now, do we follow the money with He's a Meister or?
How about we throw in He's a Meister?
Yep.
And then we get one more each.
All right, deal. So we got 2 and 5, and then you give me yours.
Yeah, you wouldn't you? 9.
You want the 9 Classic Mission. It's interesting, Jabon. I was about to ask. It's about $6-7. It seems, I don't know, it felt a little bit short. I thought it might be 11s or so.
Yeah, I was hoping it'd be. I'm not going to back it at that price. No way, but.
Just give me ARG just because it was a terrific result at Wagga River, whatever that track was last time. It was a terrific win for the Black Booker. What am I doing? 2, 5, 6, and 10. So the pod quad is 2, 3, 8, 11, 3. Second leg. Third leg, 2, 3, 6, 8, 11, and 12. And last leg, 2, 5, 6, and 10. J-Bond footy score 6, 10.
46.
46, absolutely. Race 9 is the Catnars Jewelers Victoria Trotters Oaks to finish the night, J-Bond, a.k.a. the Get Out Stakes.
That cost you $96, I think, for 100%, by the way. But
there you go.
I mean,
good maths.
There's only this is we're looking for place getters, aren't we here? But King Zahara is the best young trotter that I've ever seen, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And it will go ahead and win this race. There could be some funny bugger business going on at the start with a few out wide, maybe a Lincoln Bio or a Dreams of Love. Try and dash across them because Jillaby Ballerina is not massively quick. The 2 drawn inside are not quick at all. So there might be a little bit of fun and games and frivolity early, but King Zahara will be winning. And really the only other ones I believe you need to include for your exotics are Jillaby Ballerini, the Ballerini, not the Ballerina.
Yeah.
Maltese Mac, Penny, and Violet Stanford. And you could probably have 2 trifectas here, with Zahara to win, Stanford to run second, the other 3 to run third, and then those 3 thrown in for second and Stanford to run third. Does that sound about right as I spit on my microphone?
Sounds pretty good to me, Jace. And all of your game plans, as usual, speed, maps, all the jazz will be at pacesetters.au, I presume?
Yes, 100%.
100%.
I'll try and put a speed map up for every race here because it is Victoria Cup night.
It is a big night.
And it's a big night. And the maps are going to mean hell of a lot, but here's my, as we say, sayonara.
Yes.
My one big prediction of the night is that there will be 2 genuine blowout results.
Ooh, okay. I love it. I love it because it looks on paper when you look at the odds like it would just be a really good multi-night and a very easy one. But you're just ringing the warning bell there a little bit, J-Bond. Just sort of sounding the warning, the alarm a little, just a little, J-Bond.
Well, you look at the heats. I think the G-Banger, G-Hall might have had a bit of a rant recently about the heats and finals, final situation. But we're in a situation where you basically learnt nothing from last week and
didn't learn much.
So. With this money on offer, and we know that money is scarce.
Scarce, yes.
That racing for the stations where the sheep live is much more likely under these circumstances. And when you race for those little lambs, the lions for lambs, the ewes, the merinos, and the rams, that crazy shit can happen, and I think this might be the case.
I can't wait to find out. I think that's intriguing, and your game plan will tell that story, J-Bon, like a crystal ball in advance and find those roughies. So I love it.
So we're prophets.
All righty, that's been the Pacesetters preview. Make sure you check out pacesetters.au Saturday morning, because that's where all the jazz and all the numbers and all that sort of.
Yes,
and we'll we'll put up the pod quad from now on. I know everyone's previously you've had to actually like listen to the pod. We actually will just throw that out on the socials, J-Bon. How's that sound?
Very good idea. What a great innovation.
Social media, and make sure you check out Tongue Tie Off if you haven't yet. That's the other podcast on the Pacesetters Network. So get around both of them, eh?
Been fun, Mr. BDI. We'll catch up again next week and hopefully with full pockets.
It sounds like a plan. Cheers, Chase.
Au revoir.